The vice president is being dispatched to Minnesota. I took it as a sign that there's going to be an attempt to take down the temperature, meet with leaders, get us to a better place. I'm not sure after what you're about to see. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey answered by questions. Would he work with the feds? Will he answer the DOJ subpoena? But then the question of the Vance meeting came up, and he seemed a little unsure of why I was asking. Then we both learned why. So the lead here was going to be the vice president of the United States is coming to meet with you. And are you open to that? But then there was another headline right behind it that they're also readying more actual active troops just in case they feel they're necessary in Minneapolis. It's like a carrot and a stick. How do you welcome this news?
It's the first that I'm hearing of it. Look, we've been working for weeks to access every channel that we possibly have to get information to get information from the White House and beyond to try to figure out, look, how do we move forward safely for our city? How do we stop this invasion that is taking place in Minneapolis? So, look, am I open to meeting? I'm open to it. That being said, we are not going to be intimidated in this city. You're not going to intimidate us weaponizing the Department of Justice. You're not going to intimidate us with another 1,500 troops that are located just off-site with the threat that they're going to come in and invade our city even further.
When you say you're open, if the vice president comes and says, will you guys work with us so that we can identify the violent criminal people who are not supposed to be in the country? Will you help us with that? What will you say?
Well, working with the federal government to prosecute and arrest violent criminals is nothing new here in Minneapolis. We've been doing this for years. Look, I'm going to take about the easiest position I could possibly take. In Minneapolis, we're anti-murder. We're anti-rape. And when you murder or rape, we will work with the DEA and the FBI and the ATF and the U.S. Attorney's Office. And we have done that to successfully drive down crime. Right now in the north side of our city, shootings are at the lowest level that they have been on record. Crime is down in virtually every category in virtually every neighborhood of the city. But what we've seen is what this federal government is doing right now. It's not about safety. It's not about reducing crime. If it were, then there are very important mechanisms where we would work together to do that. It's not even about immigration. This is political retribution that we are seeing here. This is some form of retaliation because, I don't know, the state didn't support the president in like 3 consecutive elections. And we have the important role right now. I, as mayor, have the important role of keeping our city safe.
You don't believe that the federal government is right, that the state of Minnesota, of course, through the governor's office, refuses to give them access to the jails and prisons to collect people that they say are criminal and not supposed to be in the country?
I won't speak for the state. I will let them speak for themselves, but certainly that is what they have relayed. In Minneapolis, we will not cooperate with ICE or any federal agency around immigration enforcement work. We will not. And there's a good reason, by the way, that we won't. And it's not just the moral imperative here. It's also the fact that I want our police officers focusing on safety. I want our police officers arresting perpetrators of violent crime and preventing carjackings from taking place and doing that basic work of 911 response. You know what I don't want our police officers doing? Spending a single minute going after some father who just dropped his kids off at daycare, is about to go work a 12-hour shift, who happens to be from Ecuador.
You said you were open to working to them to bring down crime, but you don't want to be in the immigration enforcement business. Fair distinction. But if they say, yeah, we'll do the immigration work, just control the perimeter, and when we are looking for violent criminal undocumented immigrants, although they probably won't use that vernacular, will you help us? What about that sweet spot?
Look, I'm not going to agree to anything right now on the spot simply because there's not a lot of trust that's baked in. They're saying this is about murderers and rapists, and like if it were, again, there would be very obvious mechanisms to work together. This is not what it's about. This is about terrorizing people. This is picking Somali and Latino people up off of the street that are American citizens. This is discriminating only on the basis of are you brown, and then virtually no discrimination thereafter, which, yeah, is resulting in people that are completely innocent, completely American citizens, have done nothing wrong whatsoever, getting detained, getting ripped apart from their families. And, I mean, I'll just give you a few of these instances. We've got city employees that are being targeted. We'll have a few public works employees out there filling potholes or whatever, and the three ones that are brown will get ID'd and be stopped and even potentially detained. And you got the one person that's white not.
Couple of DOJ questions. One, do you have any information as to whether or not there is any federal investigation into the shooting and death of Renee Good involving the officer, not involving Renee Good's wife? Do you know about any investigation of the officer at that level?
I mean, it appears that they're trying to not investigate the officer that shot Renee Good, but they are trying to investigate leaders and politicians in Minnesota and Minneapolis that have disagreed with the president of the United States, and they're doing so. And that targeting is taking place purely on the basis of work that I and others have done that is core to the responsibilities we have as mayor, namely speaking on behalf of my constituents.
The DOJ has reportedly subpoenaed you, the governor. Do you think that you will answer that subpoena, or are you determined to fight it?
I'm going to let some of the lawyers handle the exact the way this is handled as works its way through the process. It was my office. So the office of mayor in Minneapolis was subpoenaed. I believe it was the office of governor at the state level as well. Obviously, it's frivolous. And again, this should be of deep concern for everybody.
The first time I interviewed you, it was the maelstrom of George Floyd. And you said at the time something that was hard to say. You agreed with why people were outraged. You were there. You were local. You were present. There were calls to defund the police. You said, no, we need our police. How they police matters. That's why I'm here. That's where I want to lead. Similarly, I would have never expected you to be in another maelstrom in Minneapolis, but here you are. And again, people are outraged. They believe the actions of law enforcement were wrong, and there are calls to defund ICE. How do you feel about that?
Well, what I've heard is abolish ICE. I mean, let's be real. The amount of money that has been dumped into ICE over the last year has been ridiculous. And so, I mean, gosh, we could use a lot of that money to hire police officers, which we very much need. We could use that money to put up affordable housing.
But do you believe that there should be ICE?
So I think a lot of people are talking by one another on this. Here's what I think. ICE needs bottom to top transformation. The conduct that ICE is presently engaged in and the way they're being directed is horrific. Let's be very clear. I've heard really good ideas that ICE should not be located in DHS, but should rather be put in a different department altogether. I think all very good arguments. You want to change the name, you want to change the department. Certainly, you have to change the conduct and the way they're behaving top to bottom. Absolutely. There does, however, need to be some form of customs and or enforcement. Customs and or immigration enforcement. If you're going to have, laws, you do need some mechanism to enforce them. And so call it what you want. But we all just need to be kind of clear-eyed about what we're saying out loud.
Understood. And I appreciate the clarification. One last thing, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate your time. Do you believe that the protesters who went into the church and all the video that came out of it, do you believe that they did something wrong?
So I approach this from a legal standpoint, and I also approach this as the standpoint of I'm the mayor of Minneapolis. This actually happened not in our city, but in an adjacent one. Look, churches, temples, mosques, sacred spaces that are largely seen as private spaces. A protest, First Amendment speech can take place in public spaces. And so certainly not the strategy that I would have used myself. I don't know all the details behind it. But yeah, that would be my personal position. Now, I also heard, however, from, I guess it was Kristi Noem she was saying, we want the mayor to declare a safe zone for protests in Minneapolis. So in other words, a location where you go in a park or something where that's where just all the protests take place. First of all, I thought the entire nation of America, certainly in the public spaces, were a safe zone for First Amendment speech. And second off, I can't imagine telling our activists here in Minneapolis, I mean, it's almost laughable, like, hey guys, you can just protest in this park over here and you can't go anywhere else in the city. If you're anywhere else in this city, just shut your mouth. But here over at this park, that's where you're going to protest. That ain't Minneapolis. In Minneapolis, people really use their First Amendment speech.
Mr. Mayor, I would have never imagined that you would have had another maelstrom like this in Minneapolis after George Floyd, but here we are some 5 years later, and certainly you have experience that a lot of mayors do not. I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll be watching, we'll be covering for the duration.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
All right, I hope the meeting is something beneficial because we are desperate for better.
Yeah, first I've heard about it. I didn't even know that
We know he's coming, but he's doing it with some community leaders, is what we've heard, but you weren't invited.
I wasn't invited. There you go.
So he's coming to Minneapolis and not meeting with the mayor. Is he meeting with the governor?
We don't know. Not that we've heard. Yeah, not that we've heard.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thank you for the candor. Thank you, staffer. I'm shocked, to be honest, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's all shocking. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.